Hey y'all. Well, life can really throw you some curveballs, can't it? Luckily, when I played Little League, I learned how to hit a curveball. So today I'm going to talk about some of the curveballs I've experienced or that have been thrown at me since I got back from my trip to Thailand. Now, so much has changed since I've gotten back. You know from my first video that I was making my first trip to Thailand, and I absolutely loved it. Everything about that trip was fantastic. That's not what this video is about. You can look for a full review of that trip in another video, and keep watching through this one because as we go through, I'll link here wherever it shows up. I'll link some of the trip videos from when I was there, traveling to Phuket, traveling to Ao Nang, and you can watch those another time there. Remember in that first video I said that my plan was to retire in June of 2025? Well, when I got back from my trip to Thailand, I came home on Tuesday, and that Saturday I got the first curveball thrown at me. Some life changes occurred, some family life changes occurred, and they made a big financial difference for me that allowed me to actually accelerate my timeline. So instead of waiting until June 2025, I started planning for April 2024. What a great surprise. I was so happy that I wouldn't have to stick out another year working in a job that I don't like, paying American expenses, dealing with increasing blood pressure as I go through planning for retirement. But sometimes the pitcher's going to throw two curves back to back. Just the other day, my manager gave me a call after hours and let me know that my position might be eliminated and that I was being considered for an early retirement package or a displacement package, and that my timeline adjusted from June 2025 to April 2024 might not make it even that far. My new timeline is probably more like late 2023 or early 2024. So December, end of year 2023 timeline or very early 2024, I could be making the move to my final destination. Stay tuned for yet another video that's going to reveal that final destination choice. I'll tell you now the choice has been made and I'm very excited about it. So we'll see how things develop from there. The big question is, okay, what now? Timeline adjusted maybe twice. It's actually 4th of July weekend right now. So if I'm looking at end of year for a move, I've got to get the ball rolling. Now I was already starting to sell things, give things away here in the condo, just kind of weed things out, making a lot of donations, made a couple trips down to the donation spot. I've sold a few things, just kind of decluttering, and I tend to live kind of minimally, but you know, once you start going through things to try and reduce all that you own and declutter, you find out that you still own a whole lot more than you thought you did. So my plan for the move is to reduce all of my possessions to 2 suitcases and a carry-on. Everything else has to go. Best case scenario, I'll be able to sell my condo fully furnished. Hopefully an investor will come along, someone who maybe wants to turn it into an Airbnb or have a fully furnished rental to put on the market, turnkey rental property for them. That's best case scenario for me. Worst case, we'll find a regular buyer and I'll just deal with getting rid of all the furniture and selling off everything, all of the contents. So on top of reducing possessions, I've been making a lot of other plans, particularly financial plans, moving toward that goal of retirement. I've been doing things like changing my investment portfolio to be a little heavier weighted toward the income producing side of things. So I'm moving out of riskier stocks, more speculative stocks where I was looking for growth and you know, value change, and moving more into more solid stocks that are producing higher dividend rates that I can use as income later. So in the meantime, those dividends will be reinvested. But when the time comes and I'm retired and I need to start generating income from other sources, I will stop reinvesting dividends and I can use that income from the dividends as periodic income. So looking at stocks that are producing over 8% returns right now is kind of what I'm focused on in that realm. Here's a link to a video I did on CD ladders. You can watch that if you're not familiar with what they are, but right now we're in a time where interest rates in America are rising, which means that banks are paying higher interest rates. So I've started to utilize my own advice that you'll see in that video and created CD ladders so that I can generate continuing income and lock in those high interest rates. One of the other things I'm doing is using high yield savings. So right now, regular bank savings accounts still paying less than 1% or 1/10%. But there are a lot of money market accounts or high yield savings accounts available that are paying somewhere north of 4 to 5% in some cases. So it's more liquid, but still paying a good interest rate. The difference is, the rates can fluctuate, different from a CD where you're locked in for that time period. But I've been moving some money into high yield savings and trying to gather a little more interest income from that as I look toward the future. Thinking about a future budget, ideally, wherever I end up, I'd like to be at $1,000 a month. And one of the things that I focused on while I was in Thailand was really looking at the cost of living. And you'll see in a lot of the videos that you've seen popping up on cards here, references to how much things cost as I experienced those on the trip. And I'm confident in my top 5 destinations, I could live at $1,000 a month. Now, some of those destinations, it may not be as comfortable as others, but I'm also looking at, okay, what if my budget is $1,500, or what if the budget is $2,000? So doing a lot of budget planning and making sure that that is something that's attainable for me. So I will turn 57 next month, so I'm going to be retiring at 57 years old, which means I'm not eligible to withdraw any money from my 401k without substantial penalties. I'm not eligible for Social Security. So from now, or from the time that I actually get displaced or finally pull the trigger and retire, I've got to live off of my cash savings. Budgeting is key. I'm doing a lot of planning for that, and that's where all of those things, changing investment strategies, utilizing CD ladders, pulling in higher interest rates from money markets and high yield savings accounts, all plays into my budgeting and my future planning. One of the main considerations in budgeting is rent versus buy when I get there. And I think because I've got that 2.5 year gap of living off of savings, I'll probably rent at first wherever I land. Probably up until the time I'm eligible to start withdrawing from my 401k. Just because if I were to buy something, that takes a big chunk out of the savings that I'd be living off of for 2.5 years. And that just doesn't seem like the safest bet for me, because the one thing that cannot happen is I cannot run out of money. That 2 years of renting is also going to help me, if I want to look around that country and look at different locations. I'm not locked into any place right off the bat, or I could even change my mind and decide on a different country. I'm also still working on creating new passive income streams and building out, expanding on the existing income streams that I have that are also designed to generate me continuing revenue as I move forward. So, final steps, I'm going to keep building on my passive income streams. I'm going to keep working on my investment income. I'm going to be selling a bunch of stuff from the house. I got to sell everything from the house. I'm going to be donating things that I can't sell or don't feel like would sell. Donate, sell, trash are the 3 options there. And then I've got to sell the condo. It goes on the market today. Hopefully it will sell quickly. So stay tuned. Watch for that video that reveals my final destination choice. Hopefully it helps you out as you're making the same plans. If retiring overseas is something you're interested in doing, drop me a note in the comments below. Be sure to like this video and subscribe so you can keep up with me, and hit that notification bell so you know when those other videos come out. I really appreciate everyone who has subscribed so far. I'm hoping the channel continues to grow and you'll stick with me.